Once Luck and Reason crossed paths. Luck said, "Get down on your knees." Reason frowned. "Why?" Luck replied, "Because you must respect me." Reason shook his head. "And why should I? You're not better than me." Luck smiled slyly. "Wrong. I am better, and I'll prove it. See that farmer over there? Let's have a contest. You go into his mind and help him first, then I'll do the same. Whoever does better will earn respect." Reason agreed. "Fine. Let's see what you can do." Reason transformed into a small spark of thought and slipped quietly into the farmer's ear. The moment Reason settled in, the farmer felt a shift in his thinking. An idea struck him. He left the fields early that day, walked home, and said to his father, "Why should I keep working in the fields? There must be a better life for me somewhere else. I want to become a gardener instead." His father looked at him surprised. "Son, you're not thinking straight. But if that's what you want, go ahead. Just know that if you leave, your brother will inherit the house." The farmer didn't hesitate. "That's fine. I don't care about the house." He left and went straight to the castle. There, he found the royal gardener and asked for work. At first, the gardener refused. "You don't know anything about gardening. You'll only get in the way." But the farmer persisted, helping with small tasks, learning every plant's needs, every flower's temperament. Day after day he improved. Soon his flower arrangements began to outshine even the gardener's work. One day, the gardener examined the farmer's display and said, "You're more talented than I am. Your flowers are more beautiful than mine. From now on, you'll take care of the royal garden." The farmer poured his heart into the work, and when the king visited, he was astonished. He walked through the garden with his queen and their daughter, admiring every detail. But his joy was bittersweet. Though the princess was lovely, she never spoke, and no one knew why. The king, burdened by sadness, made the same announcement every year. "The man who can make my daughter speak shall marry her." When the farmer heard this, he thought, "Perhaps I can do it." He told the king he wished to try. The king's men escorted him to the princess's chambers. She was seated on the floor, playing with her dog, her eyes distant. The farmer didn't speak to her at all. Instead, he sat down beside the dog and addressed it directly. "Doggy," he said softly, "you're very clever, and I need your help. There were 3 of us in a forest, me, a carver, and a tailor. Night came, so we built a fire to keep the wild animals away. First, the carver stayed awake to watch over the flames. While we slept, he began carving a girl out of wood. When he was done, he woke the tailor and went to sleep. The tailor saw the wooden girl and thought, 'She's beautiful. She deserves a dress.' So he made her one. Then he woke me." The farmer paused, still looking at the dog as if the animal were the only one who could understand the rest of the tale. One evening, the tailor admired the beautiful girl and said, "She's so lovely. I'll teach her to speak." That night he stayed with her, speaking gently, repeating words, encouraging her. By morning she greeted the others with a cheerful hello. They were astonished. She not only spoke but danced around the room, full of life and joy. But the mood quickly shifted. The men began to argue over who she truly belonged to. The carver declared, "I created her shape with my hands. She's mine." The tailor argued, "I clothed her. I gave her dignity. She's mine." I stepped forward and said, "I gave her the most precious gift of all, the gift of speech. She's mine." A dog nearby tilted its head, confused by the argument. The princess, however, smiled and said, "You gave her the best gift of all, her voice. That makes her yours." The farmer's heart swelled at her words. He looked at the princess and said, "I taught you to speak. Will you marry me?" The princess was taken aback, but before she could answer, the king's men stepped in. "No," they said firmly. "You are a commoner. You cannot marry the princess. The king will reward you with something else." They brought the farmer before the king, who asked, "What do you want as your reward?" "I want nothing but your daughter's hand in marriage," the farmer replied. "You promised that the one who taught her to speak could wed her. That was your word." The king's face darkened. "I am tired of your insolence," he roared. "Take him away and execute him." The king's men dragged the farmer to the town square, preparing for his beheading. Watching from afar, Luck turned to Reason. Your work brought him far, Luck said. Now let's see what happens when it's my turn. Reason quietly stepped out of the farmer's mind and Luck stepped in. The executioner raised his sword, and with a loud clang, the blade shattered in two. Gasps erupted from the crowd. The king rushed forward shouting, "Stop!" Silence fell over the square. The farmer looked at the king and said, "I realize now that I was wrong before. My heart has changed, because of your daughter." The princess, who had been watching closely, smiled warmly. "Father," she said, "he's a good man. Only he could have given me the gift of speech." The king hesitated, then nodded slowly. "He is a commoner, but I am the king. I can change the rules. They will marry." And so the farmer's life was spared. He and the princess were wed in a grand celebration. At the wedding, Luck laughed at Reason. "You see? It was my doing. I kept him alive." Reason only smiled. "Yes, you broke the sword. But who changed the princess's heart? Who made the king listen? That was me. Without me, your luck would have been useless." Luck scowled and with a huff flew away, leaving Reason quietly content.